So wrapping up here, before we move back to the audience, just a quick fire round. Mike, I'll start with yourself. So as someone, Mike, that's had great success in delivering a successful renewals program at Ribbon, yeah, what's your key piece of advice you would give to somebody starting out in this area? Put yourself in your shoes a few years back, Mike. What would you offer?
Yeah, I think I've touched on it already. I would say start with the data, right? Figure out what you have, what you need, and what you want to track and what your goals are, and start there, because you've got to kind of build your tools, your processes, anything you want to automate. It really is all going to start from the data, right? So it's important, I think, you get that right as much as you can from the beginning. It's a lot harder to change data once you've kind of gone down a path than it is to start from the beginning. We kind of did it in between, right? Some of what we did was starting from scratch, and some of it was using what we had. But that would be my key advice: is just start with the data, build your plan, and it's a journey. I think Rob said it earlier, right? It definitely is a journey for us. We're not where we want to be yet. I mean, our renewal rates are great, but I still want to do lots of things to just make it easier and more efficient. We're still throwing people at things that probably can be automated, so we're going to keep doing that kind of thing. Just to improve the performance and the way we do business with our partners over time. But it's a journey, and it can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be an all at one time kind of thing, right? You can do it over time and incrementally improve over time.
Yeah, no, that's great, Mike. Thanks. And I definitely am a huge advocate of the crawl, walk, run approach. No point trying to boil the ocean, as they say. Sinead, I'll come to yourself next for your quick fire round. So Sinead, you've done this many times, but just in your experience, I suppose, what are the most common pitfalls that prevent successful renewals programs?
I think probably for me the number one pitfall would be people thinking that a renewal program starts from 120 or 90 days out from the opportunity renewal date. It starts, I think, from the day after the sale. And everybody within the vendor, anybody who touches that customer, has a role in getting that renewal in. Everybody that they touch within the company, tech support, the CSMs, sales, product teams, everybody has a role to play. And I think knowing your customer, how they use your product, what they're doing with it, what problems it's solving, is key to getting that renewal in the year later. And by the time 120 or 90 days comes out, you'll know by then whether the customer is going to renew or not. So there should be no surprises. And another quick one, what I'll just say is, I also think that regular forecast calls are key for renewals. It's something we do all the time with new logo sales, but with renewals, I don't think a lot of people do it, and it keeps you honest. If you have to talk every week, every second week about renewals that are due in the month, in the quarter, it'll make you more honest as chasing them, getting the partners to tell you what's going on. So that would be another tip, I would say: definite regular forecast calls.
Yeah, no, great advice, Sinead. And I think just the very first point you made about starting the day of the sale or after the sale, like, such an obvious thing, but I've worked with so many companies and they don't even record the sale, right? They get the sale, they're delighted, but they don't record it. And guess what? Nobody knows when the renewal is due. It's such an obvious thing, but I'm not talking about small companies. I'm talking about big companies, just recording the sale, because if you don't record it, you're not going to remember it in a year's time, or as you said, 120 days out. So last one to yourself, Rob. As a veteran of the channel and renewals, what advice would you give to a channel owner trying to build a renewals program strategy?
Probably one of the best practices that I can talk to really has been, and it was prior at Cisco and even now at Extreme, more so at Extreme. I lean on the partner advisory councils and the distributor advisory councils that we've built with our key partners and our key distributors to talk to them about where we want to be, where we want to go, because I have a view from a couple companies, but a lot of our resellers, to your earlier point, they may sell 5, 10, 15, they may even sell 50 different vendors. And every one of those vendors has some sort of program, especially if it's a SaaS or a maintenance type company. So I always try to tap into the partners and say, hey, who's doing things good or well? what are they doing well and what do you like about them? And if Extreme can extrapolate that and apply it to our programs, then we can enhance it and look at it across and also get the buy-in versus, hey, I'm going to come over the top and tell you this is what we're doing. And everybody looks at me like, why are you going to do that? You didn't even ask us about it. So to me, it's leveraging the advisory councils to feed the program. Hey, this is what the program is today. This is what we were thinking we want to do, where we want to go. How does this sound? Get their feedback. Even bring them under the covers once in a while and say, hey, we're gonna walk you through the whole thing. Tell us what your thoughts are before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
No, thanks, Robin. It's great again. Yeah, I think there's nothing better than putting yourselves in the partner's shoes, basically, and seeing it from their side of the fence. And again, I would just really reiterate what Rob said to the audience there, because so many customers, vendors of ours that we work with, or OEMs, as Rob says, they're very inward facing. The channel needs to be very outward facing, and you really need to support your partners. You know, $20 from a partner is the same as $20 from a direct customer. It's $20, right? So it doesn't matter. And it's $20 from a renewal is the same as $20 from a new sale, guys. It's the exact same thing. So, you know, it needs to be treated the same way.